Hey everyone, I'm your astrologer Brittany of Ethereal Astrology, helping you to see the larger story of your life with horoscopes that emphasize the cycles of the moon and the slower moving planets. Now, today you're watching your astrology horoscope for the collective for the new moon in the sign of Leo, which occurs on Sunday, August 4th, 2024 at 7:13 a.m. Eastern Time or 4:13 a.m. Pacific Time. Now, what I think is going on here at this new moon in Leo is that we are trying to do more of what is in our best interest, what's going to make us happy, and what's going to make our life easier here in a bigger, bolder, more grandiose way with more courage, and that still backfiring in some sort of way, creating disagreements with other people and just anxiety and insecurity within ourselves, and backfiring really because there's a lot of inner wounds around asserting ourselves and doing what's in our own best self-interest that we haven't fully healed or worked through, that we really need to slow down and do first before proceeding. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. If you want to hear more about that, please do stay tuned because we're going to talk about it right now. In order to get started though, what I like to do first is of course place on the chart what it is that I'm referring to so that you can see it and follow along with me. So let me do that now. This video is for the new moon in Leo. As a result, I have adjusted my chart accordingly to that lunar event. I know that because I see the sun and the moon here at the same exact degree and the same exact sign here, 12 degrees Leo. And when that occurs, that is what is considered here a new moon. So that's what we're looking at. What is that about? Well, new moons are all about new beginnings, new energy, and fresh starts here, doing things in new and different ways since it is the beginning of a new lunar month or lunar cycle. Okay, what is it that we're getting a new beginning, a fresh start, more of a boost to do in a new and different way? Leo, because that is the sign here that both the sun and the moon are in. What is Leo all about? Well, Leo is a lot about our happiness and our joy, what makes life fun and pleasurable here, with it being a fire sign. Here ruled by the sun. Not only is it about happiness and joy, what makes our life pleasurable, but with it being the sign ruled by the sun itself, and of course the sun there, it's about our own identity, things that are good for us as individuals, not for everyone else, not for a whole bunch of other people, just things that are going to support our own identity, our own self-interest here that it is that we might like. Not only that, but Leo to me is also a sign of courage and risk taking, especially again being correlated to the sign of the lion, courageous here. So it's also about us too, not only doing what's in our self-interest and things that make us happy, but in doing it in a more bold and courageous way where perhaps we take more risks to do it. Not only that, but I also want to note as well that again, Leo is a fire sign. The fire signs to me are more active, want to act here, and more fiery. They're more passionate here as well, and have a lot of passions and excitement here as well that we're trying to learn how to do better, differently, more of as well. So I think those are the themes that come to me for the time being, the big themes of this new moon in Leo. We're trying to get new energy or a new way here of asserting what's in our own self-interest here as an individual and what's going to make our own self happy, and of doing it in a way that's more bold and courageous here, and that allows us to express more of our passion that it is that we have. Okay, that's going on here. Now, before I go more into the details and the specifics of that new moon itself here and of how it's going to play out over the course of the next few days and weeks, I do like to go backwards in time here for a minute before I go forward. And I do like to go backwards in time in order to give you more of the context of how we got here and of why these themes in particular are now coming up to be felt, lived through, and experienced here. And I like to go back because I do believe that the context can change each event here, astrological event, in a significant way, and it's what makes one different from the other in a lot of senses. So I'm going to do that. If you are not interested in this section, that's totally cool. You can go ahead and skip forward in the video. I put timestamps in the description box here for you to do so in order to make your viewing experience easier. But I'm going to go ahead and hop into it now. What I like to go back to is going to be a very significant alignment that occurred at the very beginning, roughly of 2020, around January to April. here 2020. Around that time, we had a very rare and difficult alignment that occurred, and that was Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, and the South Node here all aligned towards the middle to late degrees of Capricorn. This is a very rare alignment because Saturn and Pluto only come conjunct about every 35 years, and not always with Jupiter and the South Node there, which makes it even more rare. And not only was it difficult because of that, but it was rare because of that, but it is also a difficult alignment. And it's also a difficult alignment because Saturn and Pluto are outer, I guess Saturn's kind of in the middle, but tend to be more malefic planets that manifest in a harder way. Also because Jupiter was there in Capricorn, a sign it does not like to be in, and because the South Node is the South Node, which tends to also be difficult as a point of release. So a very rare and difficult alignment. What was the rare difficulty that we were experiencing at the beginning of 2020? Well, I think it was us starting to realize or understand, Jupiter, that there were a lot of things about the structure of our life, Saturn and Capricorn, that we were not happy with. We were feeling restricted by and needed to make big change, permanent change, Pluto in order to end, so that we can get out of these things we didn't like and into better things. Not only was it us realizing around that time, the beginning of 2020, a lot of things in my life that have been happening for a while, I don't like anymore, no longer resonate with me, I need to end. But I believe it was also us starting to make those endings, to make those changes, to get out of a lot of things that weren't working for us, whether we knew that was going on or not. Okay, that then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention, which was about 2 years later, now in April here of 2022. In April of 2022, we had a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus on the North Node, somewhere right around here. Okay, this to me was a more helpful thing here because it's a new moon, which I tend to like. Also because it was on the North Node, which is more favorable here as well. So this to me was a positive thing. What's the positive thing about it? Well, new moons indicate new beginnings. Solar eclipses superpower that. In Taurus is a lot about fertility. It's a lot about fertility and growth and more stability here for us to move forward in a more calm way. So what I think happened in April of 2022 is that we started to feel like we had ended enough things from the past 35 years that we didn't like, that we were in a better place from which to grow and do new things after this that were more in alignment with us. Okay, that then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention, which happened just 2 short weeks after that, which was a full moon lunar eclipse in the opposite sign of Scorpio, somewhere around here on the South Node in that same month, April of 2022, right around there. Okay, that was very difficult. That to me was very difficult because sometimes full moons can be a little more difficult than new moons, and especially because it was on the South Node here. Which tends to be harder. And of course, the moon, which was a part of that alignment, doesn't really like to be in Scorpio where it was. So that to me was more difficult. What was the difficulty about that? Well, the South Node tends to indicate habits or traits that we're stuck in here that are no longer useful for us anymore and are no longer going to help us grow. And that if we remain in, are going to hold us back in some sort of way. So it was us realizing that we have a lot of these unhelpful traits that we're stuck in are going to hold us back here that we need to let go of, which by nature is difficult, right? It's hard to let go of something you've been doing for a while. What were those traits that we were stuck in here that were not conducive to this new beginning here that was going on? Well, they were Scorpio traits, not because Scorpio is a bad sign, just because the South Node just happened to be there at that time. Okay, and Scorpio, when negative, can tend to show up as indulging too many negative emotions. It can be a very intensely emotional sign here, which sometimes can stop us from doing things that are in our best interest or that are going to be better for us. And not only were the challenge of that we had, a lot of negative emotions from what we just experienced that were hard to handle, but it was also as well that Scorpio, when negative, can go sometimes is too intertwined with relationships and with other people and what they're doing and giving our power away to others. So not only did we have a lot of negative emotions from our past experience that were preventing us from building something new, but we had a lot of associations with relationships. We were giving our power away to them. That was also preventing us from moving forward. In addition to that, Scorpio can also be about spending too much money. So we might have been spending too much money, which is making it hard for us to figure out what the new thing is that we wanted to do and gather our resources for that. And Scorpio as well, when negative can just be about instability and change. We were still stuck in making change, which was not helpful when you're trying to really create something more secure after this point. So I think that's what happened there, that full moon in Scorpio, also in April 2022. I'm out of a whole bunch of things I don't like anymore. I ended those and I'm now in a little bit of a better place, and I want to move forward on that better place, but very hard for me to move forward in this better place because I still feel upset about the past few years and what I've been through, and because I still have these relationships in my life that I'm giving my power away that aren't supportive of me, and I'm spending too much money. I don't have the money I need to build this stuff that I want to build, and I'm still stuck in making all these crazy chaotic changes from the past few years that were also a bit hard to, that we realized we needed to let go of, and that I think took us actually quite some time. I think it really took us about a year, roughly, to really let go of those habits. It wasn't until the next alignment I'm going to mention that I think we started to get a better handle on it, which was about a year later, April of 2023 now. And at that time, we had a new moon solar eclipse somewhere here in the sign of Aries. So we're going to look at that. And that was after both Pluto and Saturn had changed signs, Pluto into Aquarius and Saturn into Pisces. Okay. That to me was a more helpful thing here, because again, it was a new moon and it was on the north node here. So I did like that. What was that about? Well, new moons are all about new beginnings or doing things in new ways. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, a lot about this new experience of life that we're trying to get into and our identity and our behaviors. So adopting, new behaviors, new identity, and trying one more time to get into a new experience of life. And of course, an eclipse will superpower all of that here. So in April of 2023, we finally, got a different perspective where we weren't giving so much of our power away, indulging all these negative emotions, spending money, making changes, where we felt as though we were ready again to move forward again into a new, different, and better experience that we had been trying to a year prior. Okay, that then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention, which occurred shortly after April of 2023. I believe it was around May to June of 2023. I'll say May. Around May of 2023, what we had occur was Venus go retrograde here in the sign of Leo, around where this new moon is now, actually. That was also a bit of a challenge here in some sort of way, because it was a planet, especially a personal planet, appearing to go a direction in the sky that is not natural to it. And what was the difficulty there? Well, Venus was slowing down and moving backwards. So this was us also feeling stuck here again. Still not able to move forward into this new and better experience of life that we'd been trying to get to, even after adjusting some of our perspective from the year prior. That was very frustrating for us. Not only was it us being stuck, again, still not able to move forward, but there was a reason why. The reason why we were stuck and unable to move forward is more of a Leo thing. Leo's about happiness, joy, pleasure, doing what we love here, and asserting that. We were stuck and unable to move forward because we were having difficulty, or else why would Venus need to retrograde in it? We were having difficulty doing what we love, being happy, honoring our heart. And with Pluto back in Capricorn around that time, we're too stuck in emergency mode, right? And we can't move forward into a new beginning in life if we're still stuck in emergency mode, scared that something bad is going to happen at any moment and not feeling happy. So we had a problem there. Here that was going on, not feeling joyful in May of 2023. Okay, stuck. That then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention, which happened somewhere around July of 2023. We had Pluto here, which was back in Capricorn around that time, making a square to the nodal axis, which include the south node here in Libra and the north node here in Aries. That can also be a difficult thing. It was a function of two squares. Pluto is involved, typically a malefic planet, as making us feel stuck still and making us feel challenged. But even though this is a hard thing, it was called a skip step in evolutionary astrology when you have a planet square the nodal axis. And this can create a need for a big choice, a big life-changing choice or decision to be made here. That was hard. forward. And I think a big life-changing choice or decision to be made to get out of emergency mode and to start to follow our heart and what made us happy again here, that I think we started to do there, July of 2023. I'm getting into a new and better experience of life. I've changed my mindset now to not be as chaotic emotionally, intertwined with relationships, spending all this money here that's going on. But there's another issue. I'm not happy. And now I'm going to make big changes to be happy so that I can continue on this better trajectory here. And I think it was hard, but it worked. And that then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention, which happened now this year around, I believe it was May of this year, 2024. Okay, we had Jupiter conjunct Uranus here in the sign of Taurus, okay, where of course the eclipses were in 2022. And this to me was, I think, meant to be a helpful thing here because Jupiter is typically a benefic planet and is fine in the sign of Taurus. Okay, what was the helpful thing that was going on there? Well, Jupiter is about new things. It's also about wisdom and understanding. Uranus could have had this manifest suddenly and unexpectedly, and Taurus is a lot about stability and security here. It's also about our finances. It's also about things being better financially, us being more calm, and us being more focused on our own needs and values as an individual, more self-reliant here. That's going on. That coming together a bit more. Not only that, but Taurus again is about fertility and abundance and us trying to move forward in that way. So in May of this year, I think we felt like we had overcome another blockage to our new life here, and we're feeling more secure, more confident, better financially, more in tune with ourselves, and more able to try yet again here to embark on a new and better experience of life. Okay, that then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention, which was somewhere around June of this year, June of 2024, we had like a new moon in Gemini. Jupiter moved into Gemini right around here. And that I liked somewhat. New moons are about new beginnings. Gemini is a lot about ideas, opportunities. So I think in June of 2024, we then had a lot of new ideas that were very exciting, and opportunities open up to us now about what we could do next in our life now that we had entered a new and better experience and had kind of conquered some issues that were bringing us down there in regards to that here that was going on. Okay, that then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention, which maybe I'll say was like a month later, July of this year, 2024. Around that time, we had a new moon in the sign of Cancer here. What I think we realized around July of 2024 here is that we were having trouble kind of picking what idea we wanted to pursue in what way here that was going on, and that we needed to be maybe more careful about what ideas that we pursued. Not only did we realize in July of this year that we needed to be we were having trouble deciding which thing we wanted to do and needed to be more careful, but that we needed to choose the option that we wanted to do next in life that was more in tune with our own self-interest, especially because that new moon in Cancer squared the North Node in Aries here. And that is shorter, easier, quicker, and allows more room for us to be ourselves, maybe follow some of our passion, and to make mistakes here with less commitments that was going on. Okay, and because that's what we realized then, we now, this month here, this new moon in Leo, for which this video is for August, are now, I think, trying to do more of that, trying to do even more of what's in our best interest, more things that are easier for us, and give ourselves like more room and space to make mistakes, or to experiment, or to try things that's going on, and do even more things that are going to make us happy, and go even more on that, take that even more to the next level here with more courage and passion. That's going on. Okay, and I think that's all I'm going to say there for now in terms of the context here. So maybe just to repeat that now that I'm done, what I think is the context of the past few years is that we've ended a lot of things from the past that are no longer meant to be with us so that we can step into a new and better experience of life. But even though we've ended a lot of things from the past to step into a new and better experience of life, there's been some issues that have come up, making it really hard for us to progress on that. First, it was issues of giving our power away to others, spending too much money, making too many changes, being too tumultuous. And then next, it was an issue of not honoring our heart and being happy. Okay. And we've overcome those issues. And because we've overcome those issues, we're now in a better, more stronger place to move forward in a new experience, doing what we want to do, building on top of that. But even though now we're in a much better place to do it, we're not quite sure what exactly to pursue. Okay, because we've never really been here before. So we're realizing that we need to give ourselves more flexibility, to have fun, to play, to do things shorter and easier with less commitments, and to focus more on ourselves and what's in our own self-interest. And we're trying to just do more of that. Okay, so that's it there. Okay, because that's it, I'm now going to move in to this new moon in Leo itself and give you more details about that. Okay, to go back to tell you about that new moon in Leo, I'm just going to circle it here on the chart one more time so you can see it. Okay, and briefly summarize that this new moon in Leo about us trying to get more energy or a fresh start here to assert our own self, what's in our best interest, and here in a way that's and what makes us happy in a way that's more bold, more courageous, bigger, and more passionate here as we move forward. Okay. Now, what I want to look at is going to be an alignment. I think really the most significant alignment here that this new moon in Leo is making, which is going to be a trine over here to that North Node in Aries here that's going on. Okay, what is this about? Now, this in and of itself, this new moon and this alignment to me, if that's all we're looking at, is a positive thing. It's a positive thing here because the sun and the moon are both benefic planets. They get along very well with one another. Also, too, because the North Node is involved, and the North Node to me is also very positive about our destiny in life and what we're meant to accomplish and learn at this time. And a trine, when everything involved is positive, can also be very helpful. So if we're just looking at this alone, which we're not, but for now we are, this is a fine thing. What is the thing going on here? Well, again, the new moon's in Leo about us trying to assert our own best interest and do what makes us happy in a more bold and courageous way. And it's connecting positively with Aries and the North Node. The North Node is what we should do more of. Aries is also about action because it's a fire sign, similar to Leo. So getting heavy energy on action. Not only is Aries a sign of action, but it also too is a sign of passion, being a fire sign just like Leo. So heavier energy on the passion. Okay, more action, more passion. And not only that, but Aries to me also too, just to draw similarities between these, is also about our own best self-interest, because not only is Leo correlated to the sun, but the sun is also exalted in Aries. So they have similarities where they both want to get theirs and do what's best for them. Not only that, but if I were to add other words with Aries as well, Aries to me likes to do things in a way that's shorter, that's easier, that's quicker, that's more independent here as well. And I might even say less committal, especially with Jupiter now in Gemini here too, that's going on. And trines can indicate that happening very quickly. That's going on. So what this now means to me, to put these two things together, the new moon and the North Node in Aries, this aspect together, is that what is going on so far is that we at this new moon in Leo really big, really a lot. We really want at this new moon in Leo to do what makes us happy and assert our own best interest in whatever is going to make life shorter, easier, and quicker for us independently as individuals here more boldly, even more boldly, more strongly, more courageous, more quickly here than we were before, perhaps with even less commitments than we were before. That's giving us more freedom here to do those things that it is that we want to be doing. Okay. That then leads me now the next alignment that I want to mention here, which is going to be the fact that Mars here is coming into a conjunction with Jupiter in the sign of Gemini at the time of this new moon, and the new moon is in a sextile with that here as well. Okay, now I also want to consider this as well positive, at least for now, for the time being here. I want to consider it positive because Mars is fine in the sign of Gemini here, and Jupiter is a planet of, good things and optimism. Now, it doesn't like to be in Gemini. I'm going to mention that in a minute. But for now, I'm going to mention it in a positive way, especially because it's connecting to the new moon by sextile. And I just personally almost always interpret sextiles in a positive way and see them as being helpful, really no matter which planets are involved. So I also want to see this as a good thing. What is going on here? Well, let's look at Mars. Mars is the planet of action. Okay, that's going on, especially we've got the trine to the North Node in Aries, a Mars ruled sign, also about action. Jupiter is a very big planet. It expands the desire to act. Okay, so a lot of this desire to act, do what we want to do, what's in our best interest, shorter, easier, quicker here. Not only that, here, but Jupiter is not only a big planet, expands things, in our case, a desire to act here, but it's also an optimistic planet. It's known for, rose-colored glasses, seeing the glass half full here. It's also known for having hope and faith. So not only is this us way wanting to act, like three different indicators here of like want to act, want to do more, lots of passion, do what's in my best interest. But this is also about us having just like a hope and faith and optimism that everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Even if we had problems with it a few weeks ago, everything's going to be fine. We're going to do what we want to do. We're going to be able to move forward. Everything's going to be great here, and that we can do it and make these situations happen here that's going on. Not only that, but if we want to think of other things, another thing that Jupiter might be trying to expand in the sign of Gemini. Gemini is a sign of experimentation. It's a sign of play. It's a sign of having fun. It's also a sign that's less committal. If you don't think Aries is less committal, even though I think it is, then a lot of you, because I see the stereotypes on the internet, especially being a Gemini myself, Gemini can be less committal than some of the other signs. Okay, so this is also expanding our desire here to commit to less things, here to have more fun, to play more, to experiment more, to try things out, to be more flexible and to see how it goes and to just see how it's all going to work and to trust and just have faith that it's going to be okay. Here that's going on. Not only can it be expanding that, but I need to note Gemini too is a Mercury ruled sign. It's also a lot about thoughts to ourselves and conversations with others here. So not only is this like more of an even extreme desire to like do things that are going to make us happy in our best interest and to assert that shorter, easier, quicker, with more courage, more drive, more optimism, more hope and faith that it's going to work out here. But it's also as well, I think, bringing up a lot of thoughts about what we want to do or how we want to do it here in conversations, perhaps with other people about what's going on and what we're maybe excited about here too at this time that's happening. Okay, so that's what it's bringing that's happening. Now, is this all going to work out? Is this all going to work out here, even though we're feeling very excited, passionate, hopeful? I think my answer is no, because even though I do like a lot of these things that I've mentioned, as I've said that I like them, but I do need to note there is an uncomfortable undertone here that's going on because Jupiter does not like to be in the sign of Gemini and therefore can function a little weird, which we may not realize on the surface. And Mars too can be known as an aggressive planet, a planet of arguments or disagreements, especially with the North Node, also in the sign of Aries here as well. So I want to note here that even though there is this extreme passion, desire to do more of what's our own best interest and assert more of ourselves and make life easier for us and less committal and more playful and more fun and to experiment and to see how it goes and just trust it's all going to work out here, I don't think it's going to work out the way we're thinking it's going to work out or work out in that great of a way here that's going on. Okay. Not only is that one of the reasons why I think there's a kind of like something underneath the surface here that's not right with some of these desires and actions that we want to take, but another reason why I think that there's something not right with it is not only because Jupiter's in Gemini, a sign it doesn't like to be in, and Mars is malefic near this, but also too because the ruler of Gemini, okay, Mercury, where these planets are, is over here in Virgo, and it's about to go retrograde tomorrow, okay? It's stationing now, appearing to move very still in the sky, but tomorrow, a day after this new moon, it's going to go retrograde here at this time, and that is a challenge here. That's a challenge because tomorrow it's going to be appearing to move backwards in the sky, okay, a direction that's not natural to it. And because with it standing still in the sky today, it's bringing all of these issues up to the surface here that maybe we did not see before. So this is another reason why I think there's some challenges going on. Okay, what are some of the challenges there? Well, a lot of the challenges are going to be Mercury issues because the Gemini influence with the Jupiter and Mars, and we've got the Mercury retrograde here. What are Mercury issues? Well, Mercury does have to do with our own mindset, the way we're thinking about things, just kind of being off or not being realistic or not being where they need to be. Not only can it be something with our own mindset that's off, but Mercury is also about communication with other people, the way we talk to other people or the way other people are talking to us. Here also being confusing, us not communicating clearly, people not communicating clearly with us, not being on the same page, confusing conversations here that are happening. That's going on. Not only that, but Mercury too can also indicate our physical environment, things in our physical environment, especially with it being in Virgo and Earth sign, things there just being messy or just not being really where they need to be in order for us to do these things that we're happy about, to do these things that we want to do that are in our best interest as well. That's going on. Again, that can be hard, creating confusion within ourselves, confusion with communication with other people, crossed wires, and just like feeling unorganized here in our environment as we try to do these things that we want to do. So do you see so far? I'm going to back up and repeat, and then I've got one or two more things to add on here. But do you see so far, we have so much passion and desire to assert ourselves, to do what's in our own best interest, to do what's going to make our lives happier and better and easier and shorter in a less committal way, with more courage, more passion, more drive, more excitement here that's going on. And we're having a lot of hope and faith it's going to work out. And we're having a lot of thoughts to ourselves and conversations with other people about these things we want to do. But there's something about it that's not working out. Either the thoughts that we're having about these things that we want to do are still confusing, unclear, or the conversations we're having about these things that we want to do are confusing with other people. We're not on the same page, or our situation is just a mess. It's not organized, perhaps, in the way that it is that we need to be as well, creating some weird tension around what we want to do. Not only that, but now the next alignment that I want to mention here that's going on, we've also got around the time of this new moon here, Venus. Venus here making a square to Uranus and Taurus, especially with Venus at the last degree of Leo before it enters Virgo, I believe later, a few hours after this new moon in Leo. Hey, this is also a difficult alignment here. Venus at the last degree of Leo, square Uranus and Taurus. Hey, this is very difficult because first of all, it's a planet at the last degree of a sign. That's typically known as the anaretic degree in astrology, tends to be more challenging than the other degrees because it's really charged with learning the lessons of the entire sign here and doing it in a more responsible way. Not only is that hard, but a square is also a hard aspect. And Uranus being an outer planet can also be difficult, especially in Taurus, a sign that Uranus itself does not like to be in. So this can also be a bit of a challenge. What is the difficulty here? Well, let's start with Uranus. Uranus has to do with the sudden and the unexpected. Okay, that's going on. This could be an insight within ourselves. I think there's definitely that, but it could also be an event that could also occur externally here as well. Some sort of challenge. Again, right? It just seems challenging to me. An unexpected, challenging idea, insight, or event that might occur here at this time. Okay, especially around with Venus and Leo, where that new moon is, us wanting to assert ourselves in our own best interest. What's the challenging thing that could occur here? Well, Venus is involved. Maybe we'll start there. Venus does have to do with relationships here. So this could be a challenging thing with relationships. Here, a disagreement with relationships. Could be an argument. Here we do have Mars involved in it, but it feels more confusing disagreement instead of all out mad argument, even though could be some of that, but it definitely feels like some sort of disagreement with the relationship, not on the same page, not seeing eye to eye. They don't like what you're doing, you don't like what they're doing. here that could be hard. Not only could this be a disagreement with relationships, but Venus also has to do with money. So this could also be an uncomfortable, unexpected money situation here that comes up. You're trying to be happy, assert your own self, do things easier, and then that makes you lose money, or you have a money issue that's startling that you weren't planning on. That's now hard. Not only could this be that, but Venus also has to do with our own confidence and self-worth, especially with Taurus, the Uranus being in Taurus. So there can also be a confidence issue here too that can come up, where you started to do what made you happy was in your best interest, and then you kind of lose steam, lose confidence here after you maybe kind of started something here that can also be going on, that can be very hard and make you feel insecure. We covered that, and maybe even a little stuck here. Maybe I'll use the word stuck because Uranus is in Taurus. Taurus is fixed Earth. I don't know what's slower than that here. Not only that, but we do have Mercury now going retrograde, about to go, retrograde in the hours after this new moon as well. So I think making us feel a little stuck, right? We had so much passion, so grandiose, so much excitement, and then we started to do it and talk about it and think about it, and then all of a sudden issues, not thinking clearly, not communicating clearly, things being messy, other people don't like it, unexpected money issues, now we're insecure, and now we don't know how to finish what we started, and are losing steam and are feeling stuck here. That's going on, that I think can be quite hard, and leave us feeling confused. We had good intentions, but now all these weird things have happened here that can be a bit hard. Okay. Why? Maybe before I kind of summarize this and give you some advice, why? Let me go deeper on that. Why are we so excited about something and it not going very well here still? And why are we having issues with relationships, with money, with our own mind and confidence and things like that? Well, I think the reason why has to do with two main things. I think part of it is back to Mercury. I'm going to go back to Mercury because it is going retrograde here in the sign of Virgo shortly after this new moon, which is very significant here and can indicate things that still need to be worked through here. What is it that might still need to be worked through? Well, Mercury in Virgo is what I've already expressed so far in this video, of course, about thinking, our mindset, communicating with others. But I want to give you another thought here. Mercury can also be about healing here. Healing, since I believe that, Mercury has to do with Hermeticism, healing. Virgo, too, is also a sign of health and of healing here as well. So I want to take it a step deeper and say one of the big reasons why we're having difficulty doing what's in our best interest and what we really love, and are thinking weird and confused and weird conversations and disagreements and don't know how to handle these unexpected events with ourselves and money, is because there's some deep inner healing within our soul, within our emotions, around what we're doing that has not fully happened, has not fully been worked through in some sort of way here that's going on, and needs to, in order for us to move forward. What is it that needs to be healed that hasn't, that's stopping us from fully doing what we want to do and what's in our best interest? Well, that to me also comes back to the Mercury retrograde in Virgo part of it, of what needs healing here that's keeping us from moving stuck, especially if Mercury and Virgo have to do with healing. And what is that? Well, I think it's part of the Virgo influence that needs to be healed, or else why would Mercury be going retrograde here? And because Venus is also going to enter Virgo later today and into tomorrow here. Okay. Virgo, when negative, and I'm interpreting it in a negative way because Mercury is retrograde there and Venus is about to enter Virgo. It does not like to be there. I didn't make up the rules. This is what's going on. Okay. Virgo, when negative, can tend towards being overly critical and overly perfectionistic about things here that's going on. Not only can Virgo, when negative, lead towards that, but it can also lead a tendency towards overwork, working too much here that's going on, and feeling like you're being lazy when you're not working. And it can also lead as well to people pleasing, because the ancient astrologers considered Virgo a sign of slavery or servitude, right? And servitude, right, which is where you get it. Virgo also correlates to the 9 to 5, right? Servitude, punching the clock. So That's why it correlates to your job as well. And when you're doing service, you put someone else's needs before your own best interest here as well. Here that's going on, especially with the South Node in Libra, where some of that also comes from too. So I think that's some of the healing. I think there's more things that need to be healed I'm going to bring up in a minute, but I think that's part of it. And do you see why? If we're trying to do what's in our own best self-interest and also what's shorter, easier, fun, do you see how our mind can start to play tricks? Oh, well, I'm being lazy. Doing what's fun, what's easy, what's simple. You're taking the lazy way out. You need to work harder. You need to work more, right? There's this mindset on repeat that needs to be healed. Do you also see how it can do as well? Oh, you're trying to just do what's in your best interest in a way that's easier, shorter, and have more fun and play. Well, you're not doing it right. You're not being perfect enough. You're not being thoughtful enough. You're not being, you're not doing everything the way it should be done here because you're just trying to have fun. So there's also this thing that we're insecure about on loop there. Not only that, but again, the people pleasing. Oh, I'm trying to just do what's in my best interest and have fun. Well, what about everyone else? You're not thinking enough about other people and what they want to do, or what I want, if you're in an argument, what I want to do here, that can come up. Okay. So do you see? That's part of the issue here. Want to do what's in our best interest, what's going to make us happy, what's going to make our life easier and shorter, excited to do it, but it not working. Arguments with other people, ourselves, difficulty with money, and it's not working no matter what you think it is on the surface. It's not working because of a deeper issue, and it's because there are some mindsets that need to be healed that are incorrect that you have within yourself. And some of the mindsets that need to be healed within yourself that are incorrect are that doing what you want to do and what's happy and fun is too easy, is too lazy, is too selfish, and not thinking enough about other people here, and is not the right, perfect way to do it that's going to make everything come together. Okay, not only do I think that that's what needs to be healed, but I think there's another thing as well that I think is going to come up to be healed too. And I think that the other thing that's going to come up to be healed maybe a little bit later is going to be more Leo themes as well, because Venus is currently at the last degree of Leo at this new moon. And of course, that's where the new moon is, but also because Mercury, after it finishes in Virgo, is going to retrograde back into Leo. So it's going to go Virgo and Leo here. And Mercury is about that healing experience that still needs to happen. So I think there's also Leo wounds that need to be healed as well. What is that? Well, a Leo has a lot to do with being seen, right? It's very bold, ruled by the sun, hard not to see that here. That's going on. So I think there's also a lot of triggers around being seen. If I do what I want to do, what's easier, quicker, more playful, it's going to have me kind of do my own thing, right? Especially if it's going to put you in an independent place, doing my own thing, standing apart, I'm going to be seen. There's a lot, I think, of fear and insecurity around being seen for who we really are, and for our truth and what's going on here instead of like a mask that we might be wearing. I think there's a lot of fear around that. Okay, wounds that need to be healed. Not only that, but another Leo theme here as well, I think, is being alone. Maybe that's a weird way to put Leo, being alone, because not only is Leo about being seen, but Leo's also about a leader, and it's lonely at the top. It is lonely at the top. When you're a leader, you do things other people don't do. When you're a leader here, you stand out before people are there, before people are on board, before people understand. So I think there's also not only a fear of like, if I do my own thing, independent, easier, quicker, in my best interest, when it comes to the Leo themes, not only am I afraid of being seen for who I truly am, but it may put me in a situation where I'm alone now, where I stand out, maybe not in a good way, and where I'm alone and I'm doing things by myself here, and where I'm out on a limb, and I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of that's going on here too, that I think also needs to be worked through in order for us to fully stand in our power, stand in our truth, assert ourselves, get our best interest, and move on. Okay, so do you see? Here, to continue bringing it together, at this new moon in Leo, we want to do even more of what's in our best interest, and it's happy, fun, easier, shorter, quicker, less committal, more playful here that's going on, and take more of the moves and risks to do it, and conversations and thoughts in order to make it happen. And we're doing it. But the more we try to do that, we then run into an issue here, which is miscommunications, disagreements with other people, perhaps unexpectedly, here, maybe unexpected money issues, and a lack of confidence within our own selves around this, which can be very hard and make us feel triggered around what we're doing and just stuck around being happy and what's in our own self-interest and not know what to do or how to act here. That can be very hard. And the reason why we have so much passion to do what's in our best interest, but we aren't following through and are facing opposition here, is because there's a lot of wounds around doing what's in our self-interest in a shorter, easier way, and triggers that are at the root cause of the matter that haven't fully been healed, that we need to heal, which and the triggers have to do with the fact that we think doing what's in our own self-interest that's easier and quicker is either lazy, is not nice enough to other people and not helping them enough, not perfect and organized enough, or is going to put us out alone on a limb without other people to support us here and have us seen for who we truly are and not who we pretend to be here to others. That's going on. That can be hard. Okay, because that's going on. Now I'm going to switch over to give you some advice here. What is the advice now about how to deal with all of this? Well, I'm going to go back to the Venus square Uranus here that happened, and maybe the Mercury retrograde too. These are symbols of slowing down a little bit, okay? Slowing down a tad, pacing yourself, because Taurus again is fixed Earth, slow. And also too, because Mercury is going retrograde. Mercury is like one of the fastest planets, and it's now moving back, appearing to move backwards, moving very slowly. So I think that there's part of the advice is to slow down a little bit. Now, that does not mean ignore the original intention, okay? Because Taurus can also be very stubborn about its values. So that does not mean forget the original intention of asserting yourself. No, hold true, hold firm, stay stubborn in your desire to assert your best interest, to be happy, to do things in an easier way. Just slow down doing it a tad and pace yourself. Not only is that part of the advice, but maybe I'll give you another weird piece of advice here too. Sometimes Taurus to me can be a little more subdued about things, and maybe even a little quieter about things as well, okay? Especially with Mercury, the planet of communication, about to go retrograde here too. So another piece of advice I might give you, take it or leave it, is not only to stay with the original intention, to assert yourself in your best interest, just to slow down and do it. But some of you may also want to be quieter about it or do it in private first before you're ready to be open about it here. That's going on. Okay, not only is that part of the advice, keep the original intention and either slow down or be quiet about it, quieter about it. But another piece of advice too is to focus on the healing. Back to that Mercury retrograde, is to focus on the healing here surrounding asserting yourself, because that's really the core issue. Okay, of what's going on. It may seem like the issue at this full moon is like, oh, other people are disagreeing. Oh, my mind is crazy. Oh, my environment's crazy. No, the real issue is the healing. Okay, and that's also why the slowing down is needed. Okay, to go into the healing and to focus more on healing wounds and triggers surrounding asserting your own self and your own self-interest and doing things in a shorter, easier, and quicker way, which to me are coming up as overworking, being too critical of ourselves, people pleasing, and a fear of being seen or being alone. Okay, that's what needs to be done to focus more on that, because it's the healing of that that's going to fix all of this. It's the healing of that that then is going to allow you to assert your own self-interest here in the way that you need, and to do that easier and quicker and to follow through and not the other way around here. That's going on. Okay. Because, and here's another thought. I'm trying to decide if I wanted to say that from the summary section or just say it now, but maybe I'll say it now, because the goal with this energy here, the goal with this energy is not for you to do what's in your best self-interest and everyone to love it and everyone to be like, oh, love what you're doing. No, the goal of this energy, what you're learning, is for you to do what's in your best self-interest, people not to like it, and you to do it anyways. You to do it anyways because you want it, because you deserve it, because it's going to be better for you in your situation here. Okay, that's the purpose of it. And if relationships aren't involved in your situation, then it's also the same, right? To say it another way, if relationships aren't involved, then the goal of this energy is not for you to do what you want to do and everything be perfect and peaceful and organized and lovely and harmonious. No, the goal is for you to do what you want to do. It be crazy, it be messy, you're not sure exactly how it's going to work out here, and you do it anyways because you believe in it, because you're going to try it, because this is just an experiment, because you're just going to see how it goes here to kind of bring things together at this time. Okay, so that's why it's the healing that's needed and not the other things with the money and the relationships here. The healing of the change in the inner perspective is going to be the most valuable for what's going on here. Okay, and that's it. Because that's it, I'm just going to repeat that one last time without the jargon. So let me do that now. What I think is going on here at this new moon in Leo is that we really want to have a lot of passion, a lot of drive, a lot of desire here to do what's in our best interest, what's going to make us happy, and what's going to make our life easier, simpler, shorter, more than we have done before. And we're initiating actions, conversations, and thoughts in order to make that a reality. But the more that we try to assert our best self-interest, do things that are better for us and going to make us happy, we get faced with opposition. Okay, some of that opposition is in the form of relationships, miscommunications with relationships, disagreements with relationships here that's going on who don't like what we're doing or how we're doing it. Some of it is going to be opposition from our finances, unexpectedly. Finances, the more we try to do what we want, finances not working out or having an issue that comes up. Not only can it be opposition from that, but it can also be opposition from our own inner voice, losing confidence in our abilities to start ourselves and do our own thing, which can make us feel very triggered and stuck and confused and frustrated here about our situation and about what's going on. And the reason why, the real reason why we're having difficulty asserting ourselves and facing all these issues here is not because of an external factor, it's because of something within ourselves. And it's because we have a lot of wounds and triggers around asserting ourselves and doing what's in our own best interest that is preventing us from moving forward. And especially wounds and triggers that us doing what's in our own self-interest and is better for us is too lazy, is not helping other people enough, is not perfect enough or going to work. And especially that us asserting our own self-interest is going to maybe make some of us out in a limb alone or be seen for who we truly are and not the mask that we put on in the world. Here that's going on. And because that's what's happening and that's why it's happening here, I'm going to give you some advice. And the advice on how to handle this energy is to maintain your original intention to do what's in your own self-interest and going to make your life fun, easy, shorter, less committal, and all of that, but to slow down on that significantly here or do it privately and in quiet. Okay, not only is the advice to hold true to the original intention, but to either slow down in it or do it in quiet here, but to focus more of your attention here to the actual healing of these internal issues, of the people pleasing, the overwork, the perfection, the being seen, the being alone, and to direct more of the attention inwards here that's going on to work through that. Because the more that you can work through those issues, it's going to help you do what you originally wanted to do in a better way that's going to be more effective, and that's going to help you stick with it more and longer here about your situation here that's going on. Okay, and that's it. Okay, that's it. Okay. Yeah, and I think I said that well. I think I was very careful about how I said that. So I don't really have too much to add now in this part of the video where I usually add extra thoughts. So I don't think I have too much else to add in this video right now. It's just, this energy is just about you doing what's best for you and going to make your life shorter and easier and quicker without getting into big commitments. And that's going to make your life happier. It's all about you doing that and going for it, learning how to go for it, right? Healing the wounds and the triggers that are preventing you from going for that. Okay. Regardless of what's happening outside of you. And maybe that's the point that I'll just emphasize here before I look at your insight degrees. I think that's the point I'll emphasize because this strikes me as the most, the biggest point that people are going to get caught up on at this new moon, especially with Mercury about to go retrograde. The real issue, okay, I'm just going to emphasize it. The real issue at this new moon in Leo around you doing what's going to make you happy and what in your best interest is not, hear me, is not external. It's not someone is stopping me. Someone doesn't like it. It's not, oh, I don't have the money. Oh, I can't make the money work. It's not that. It may appear to be. It may look like that. It may look like that on the surface. I don't want to discount that. It may look like that on the surface. It may appear to be, but it is not that. Deep down, the real issue is that you do not believe in doing your own self-interest and that it's good, that it's right, that it's going to be best for you, that you're not confident about that here, and that there's an emotional resistance and blockage to it. That's the real issue, okay? Why is that the issue? Because when you are firm about your own best interest and what you want to do, you don't care what's in your way. You're going to make it work. When you believe this is best for me, this is the way I need to do it, you say, I don't care if you agree with me or not, because I know it's what I need to do. I don't care if money is there or not, because I am going to make it work. I'm going to make it work because what I want to do here is going to be better for me, is going to bring it together, here that's going on. So I think that's a key point here I want to note. It may look, to repeat it again, because it's so important, it may look like other people and money are stopping us from doing what's in our best interest here. It's not. It's an internal thing. Fears and wounds around asserting ourselves, because when we believe in ourselves and what we're doing, the issues go away because we don't care. We don't care what other people think. We don't care about money. We're going to do what we want to do without other people, and we're going to make the money come together. Okay. And to realize that don't let these other things stop you from doing what you want to do and make excuses. Okay. Another thing too that I want to note as well is that this can also be a time, right? Mercury retrograde is known for being flip-floppy, changing our mind in a way that's not so good. So another thing that I want to say is that what can happen for some of you right now with this energy is that you try to do what's in your own best interest. You do it, someone else doesn't like it, and then you go back and, oh, I'm so sorry. You don't like what I'm doing. Oh, I'm bad. I'm wrong because I need to make you happy in order to be in this relationship. So it can create a lot of situations like that, and be careful of that. The point here in this energy is not you sacrifice what you want to do to make someone else happy because you hurt their feelings. The point of this energy is for you to learn to do what you want to do, even if someone else's feelings are hurt, and to not change your mind here. Do your needs and values change just because someone doesn't like it? There's a thing here of like, you need to stop letting people talk you out of and make you feel bad for doing what's in your best interest. Now, does that mean that you might have to end some relationships who don't like your own best interest? Yes, especially at the eclipse in Libra. We're going to have an eclipse in Libra a month or two from now. Okay, 2 lunar months from now. So this may herald the ending of some relationships here that's going on, but you need to be okay with that. Do you see? And this energy in this healing is trying to get you okay with that. Losing a person in your life who doesn't support you in your best interest was never really your person, right? Do you see? Was never really your person, or is not your person for the next chapter of your life. So there's also themes here that's going on. It's not, do you see? What's stopping you from doing what you want to do and is in your best interest is not an external influence. It's an internal thing that needs to be healed here around it. And do not let other people make you feel bad for doing what you want to do and change your mind. Okay. And that takes me back to the original thought. I'm going to repeat again, just to make sure, one more time, and then I'll pull your card. The goal of what's going on here over the course of the next few months is not for everyone to love what you're doing and be happy and at peace. The goal of this energy is for you to do what you want to do, people to not like it or do whatever they want. Who cares what they're doing? And you to do it anyways, right? The goal is not for everything to be peaceful and perfect around you while you do what you want to do. It's for you to do what you want. Things be messy and you do it anyways. Do you understand here? You have to believe in your own self-interest and what's good for you, even if other people don't. And go for it. And not let excuses about your life and your situation and external events to stop you from doing what's best for you and to let other people talk you out of it. You got to do it anyways. Right? And I think that's totally the North Node in Aries, or, totally the Aries mentality, right? And the North Node is there bringing more of our purpose to be Aries at this time. To me, that's the Aries mentality of like, I'm going to do it even if it's not perfect. If I waited for things to be perfect, I would never start. Like, to me, that's the Aries thing. If I waited for everyone to like it, I would never do it. And if I waited for everything to be great, it would never happen. You just have to do what you want to do, even if people don't like it, even if it's crazy. And that's what we're learning to happen, especially over the next few months around eclipse season, September-ish. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at your inside degrees here. So now let me go ahead. Oh man, so sorry about that. I pressed the wrong button. I'm now going to bring your inside degrees here up on the screen. So let's do that. Okay. The inside degrees were not written by me. They were written by someone else named Elias Lonsdale, who channeled the meanings of the degrees from spirit here. But I like to read these just because I think they can be very relevant and helpful and confirm a lot of things. So we're going to look at that. This new moon in Leo is at 12 degrees, but I believe that the degree before, of, and after can all be relevant, especially because the planets are in motion here as they form these things. And the degree that really stuck out to me is 11 degrees, hit it right on the head. So we're going to look at that. It says this: the fatal flaw, knowing with excruciating clarity that you are bearing a character flaw that goes against everything you seek and hunger for. The flaw is that you do not stand firm and back yourself up in your own truth. Instead, you pretend that you are a more superficial or easygoing prototype. Okay, let's stop there. Right? What does this mean in the context of this video, right? A big part of this video and this horoscope has been we need to do what's in our own best self-interest, shorter, easier for us. And we're very excited about that, right? And that to me is the first sentence. We know with excruciating clarity what we seek and hunger for. Passion, excitement, best self-interest, shorter, easier, quicker. We know what we want. But even though we know what we want, we have a character flaw that's stopping us from getting what it is that we want. What is the character flaw? Not relationships, not another person in our way, not money. No, the inside degree says the character flaw is that you do not stand firm in your own truth. You do not back up your own truth. You wobble on it. You're flip-floppy. You're indecisive. You're insecure. That's the issue here. And not only does it say that the issue is that you don't stand firm in your own truth and back it up, but it says what also is the issue is that you pretend to be something you're not. Maybe part of the wearing a mask I mentioned earlier. You pretend to be something that you're not. And what you pretend to be something that you're not is easygoing. Oh, whatever you want to do. It's not really in my best interest, but whatever you think, it's fine. I don't want to rock the boat. Yeah, I'm pretending to be that, especially with the South Node and the eclipse in Libra. And Libra has a stereotype for being superficial as well. So some of this going on. Okay, well, let's read on. It says, but you do not get away with it internally. A dark dispute develops inside, subtly poisoning the atmosphere. So what does that mean to me? To continue with it, it means we know what we want to do right now with excruciating clarity, which is assert our own best self-interest, play, have fun, shorter, easier, and quicker. Okay, but there's a character flaw. We're not letting ourselves do it, not because of an external source, because of an internal issue where we're not standing firm in our own truth and are pretending to be something that it is that we're not here. But that is hard for us. That's hard for us. We do not like this inner dichotomy. Okay. Wanting one thing, but doing another is very hard. We don't want to stand for it, okay? It says, and somehow, slowly and gradually, despite yourself, you are being hurtled toward an abyss that you cannot avoid. To cross over the abyss, to uproot physically, energetically, and emotionally your claim against yourself, your self-negation. And when this happens, a sober clarity of self-affirmative strength comes right in and proves to be a gift for all your world, worth every ounce of arduous effort to attain. What is this? Okay, the first sentence that I just read says here, you are being hurtled toward an abyss that you cannot avoid, which is to uproot physically, energetically, and emotionally your claim against yourself. So this, to me, also indicates that the reason why we're struggling here is because we need emotional healing to the root cause, which is that we're fighting against ourselves. Why are you fighting against your own self-interest? Why are you rooting against yourself? You know, we need to deal with that here. Not only does it say we need to deal with that, but it says when that happens, more clarity and strength. Strength comes in, and to be a gift for your world, to make your world better, to make your life better, to make you feel happier here. That's going on. Okay, especially too, because the next degree, 12 degrees Leo, I actually like is very positive, which is the degree the new moon's actually at. Says rarely can you get to the central place and stay there, which I think is our own self-worth and conviction. But if destiny is fast and free, you do abide in the heart of creation and you never leave this spot. A host of virtues and gifts are showered upon you as you hold this post with supreme impersonal command. Okay. The most outstanding of these qualities is a faith and confidence in the powers that be, which can move any mountain. Okay, so do you see here? I don't feel like we're tapping into Leo 12 yet. I feel like we need Mercury to finish going retrograde back into Leo to get here. But do you see what's going on? I think I'm going to stop with this, but do you see what's going on here? We know what we want, our own best self-interest. Okay, but we have a character flaw that's preventing us from getting it, not an external issue, an internal issue, which is that we're fighting against ourselves here, and we're not standing up for ourselves and believing in that's going on, which is making us really frustrated and weird and not get what we want, which is very hard. And we're frustrated and weird and not getting what we want and feeling very upset here to force us to deal with the character flaw, with the emotional cause that's going on here. And when we deal with that and heal that, clarity, gifts, strength, world improves. Okay. A host of virtues and gifts are showered upon you. Do you see it? Good things are going to happen. But in order to get there, you have to do this first. In order to get there, you have to get rid of all these mindsets and heal some of these triggers that are in the way. You know, in order to get where you got, and you can't do what you've always done. Get where you want to go, you can't do what you've always done, right? And if the people pleasing and the overwork, it hasn't, and playing small hasn't gotten you to where you need to go, we now need to get rid of that. And it's going to help us move forward. So I think that's where I'm at here on that. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull your card here. There we go. Wow. I just got the card here. We've got the Knight of Wands, kind of fitting with the Aries and the Leo. Wow. And the Queen of Wands. We got a pair here, the Knight and the Queen of Wands upright. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think that's happened to me in a video in a while that I've gotten a pair here. You know, I think that I'm getting a sense, you know, the kings to me are more active. They're more doers. I see them more in the external world. The Wands are, to me, Aries and Leo, passion, asserting yourself. So I think that there is a desire here that the cards are saying to assert our passion in the world externally. But the Queen also showed up, and the Queen is, to me, well, she's also about wands. She's also the wand. She's also about passion and asserting yourself. But to me, the queens being feminine are more internal, you know, getting the internal strength, the internal perspective in order to sustain this external action in the way that you need. So I think that the thought that I'm getting here from the cards is that, yeah, we want to do things externally in our lives and assert ourselves in our own best interest. But in order to do that, we need the internal world to be right. In order to assert ourselves in the physical world, we need internally to be secure in that and in the consequences of that, and to be confident in that, and to work through our internal emotions in order to get there. Because just being the king without the queen and just trying to do the external manifestations of what we want to do without doing the inner work is going to be incomplete. You know, is going to be incomplete and not get us the full results that we want, and be a bit unbalanced there. So I think that's the thought, which clearly I think I've said multiple times in this video. Not only do I want to offer a thought about that, here, but this is a pair, right? And in relationships, there's issues with relationships going on, at this time. And I think that this is also, this isn't the King of Wands and the Queen of Cups, right? These are the same suit here of Wands. And I think the message is like what we're trying to do now at this time in our lives is find relationships that are better suited from the same suit, better suited to us that's going on. Because some of you, maybe to use a weird way of putting it, some of you right now are the King of Wands in your life, but you have a bunch of relationships that are pages or that are of another suit, a bunch of relationships that are the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. I think I've heard, I like tarot. I can't say I'm super into it, but I've heard in some tarot theory from, what's the word of it? There's some kind of like ancient tarot practice that having two cards that are of different suits right next to each other is not a good thing. It does not mean a good thing here. So I think that's what I'm feeling. Maybe to put it in the context of your own life is a lot of you are Wands and you're dealing with a bunch of cups, or a lot of you are, the King of Wands, and instead of having your counterpart, the Queen of Wands, you're dealing with pages and the minor arcana. And the energy now is saying, if you're a King of Wands, you need to find the Queen of Wands, right? If you're the Queen of Wands, you need to find your King of Wands, and you need to stop settling for the minor arcana and for these people in other suits who don't really get you, because they're not good partners for you. So I think that's the thought. If you're going to assert yourself externally, you need to do equal internal work around that in order to sustain it. And you need to let go of relationships who don't get who you are and what's in your best interest, because they're not meant for you. They're not on the same path and journey for you, and seek out different types of relationships with people who do get your own self-interest and who are meant for you, because the people who are meant for you won't see you asserting your self-interest as selfish, as negative as all of this. People who do get you and are meant to be with you will agree with your own self-interest or will understand why you're doing it here. That's going on. Okay. And to keep that in mind. Okay. Because there are some endings and big changes in relationships that are going to be needed as a result of us asserting ourselves. And we can't be afraid of that and back down either. Hey, and I think that's it. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. I hope it helped you. If you did, please like it on YouTube, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you on the next one 2 weeks from now at that full moon in the sign of Aquarius.